The order of our service is a little different today. We are doing our annual Memorial Day candle lighting, which is an opportunity for us to, boy, I hope we have enough candles. I thought more of you would sleep in. There's 86 here. Shireen's going to do a head count and make sure. Okay, 74, good. Okay, I can rest assured. So, yeah, we do this every year as an opportunity. It's certainly, in celebration and in honor of Memorial Day in our country, where it provides an opportunity for us to consider and to hold in our hearts and in our minds those who have given their lives to service of this country and really to a life of service globally, to promote and support freedom, to be a place and a space in community that serves people, that makes the world a better place, that sees a need and goes about fulfilling it. So it's an opportunity for us to honor those in our country who have given their lives and to recognize the huge sacrifice that entails, right? Each one of us, hopefully not many of us, have experienced that sort of loss. But we can certainly imagine, right, that if our father or mother or son or daughter or husband or wife lost their life in that way, the impact that it would have on us. And so we hold that with grace and with gratitude and with love and with a sense of oneness that we can experience, we can imagine that experience. And also it brings to mind the price of freedom. And from a spiritual perspective, to recognize that we are all children of God. There are really no boundaries, no barriers. Can we envision a world where we know that so fully, that we can experience freedom and justice in a more peaceful way, that people's lives don't have to be sacrificed? And so it's an opportunity just to consider all of that and to hold that and to perhaps, no doubt these sorts of holidays also just bring up people that we've lost, our own sense of loss, our remembering, our remembrance of those who have passed. And so it's an opportunity, however that strikes you, to participate today. And we'll have an opportunity to light a candle for freedom, for peace, in honor of service, and or in honor and in memory of those who you've loved and have lost from this earthly plane. I'm working with one of the beatitudes actually two, but we'll hear about the first one starting now. From the Sermon on the Mount, the beatitudes are those 8 opening sort of prose poems that open that. You've heard them, I'm sure. Blessed are the, right? And so today's is, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. And when we talk about blessing, we can think about to enrich, right? To confer prosperity upon. Now, that beatitude has often been interpreted and taught in a way that suggests that somehow we have to suffer in order to get into heaven. Like that's just the path, or that life is suffering and your reward will come later. And when we consider it metaphysically, we really look at what is this telling us about now. In fact, we teach in Unity that heaven is not a place, but a state of consciousness. It's a state of awareness in which we realize the breadth and the depth of what we are as expressions of God. And we can connect through our own mind, through our own awareness with what that means. There's infinite possibilities when we are free from the limits of our own minds, our own fears, our own judgments. Yes, we have a higher vantage point to see the fullness of life from a place that first and foremost knows who and what we are as expressions of spirit ourself. And so it's not about, you have to suffer in order to be held up later, blessed later. But really, from the highest level, we can consider that we find comfort in the realization of the depth of us and the depth of God as love, as strength in times of grief. It brings us to our knees. And so we release our grip of how we know and what we know, and suddenly we're open to a depth of love or a depth of strength that we wouldn't have known otherwise, a depth really of Spirit itself. That is the essence of Spirit. We say our God is love, right? And so in our loss, in our grief, we experience a depth of that is profound. And we also experience a connection, an awareness that while we have lost someone in the physical realm, which is no doubt not to be underestimated, it's challenging, it's hard. But as time goes on, we recognize that love, that experience, that shared life lives within us. It is eternal. We're connected through our love, through our memories, through the lessons we learn together, the places we travel together, right? They continue on with us and enrich our lives. And so we have this deepened understanding of the depth and breadth of love that is eternal. As Eric Butterworth says, Jesus is saying the person who sorrows is fortunate, for in that sorrow they may come to experience God's presence more deeply. And as I said, grief can be so disorienting and so disillusioning that we stop doing and thinking how the ways we've always done and thought, and we are open to new experiences, to new understandings of ourself and of God. And so when we open ourselves to that process, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of love itself. And that's the love that is at the root of our grief. Grief also holds the potential for connecting us more deeply with that strength within us that is of Spirit itself. And mourning, I love the distinction between grief and mourning. Grief is what we do internally, the internal individual process by which we make sense of and come to terms with a loss. Mourning is the external expression of it. It's what we do together. It's why it's so important to have someone who can be present. And it's not easy, right? Because when you're with someone who's grieving, it reminds you of your own grief or that you will be there someday as well. But to support each other in that, because this is the other source of comfort, I think, that none of us get out of this experience without enduring that, right? You can feel so alone in it. I certainly have. And when you come together, that's what, in a sense, fuels our memorial services and our celebration of life, to come together and witness each other's grief, to be a presence for strength and love and compassion for each other. We do get comfort in that shared experience. And so all of that is sort of what fuels what we're doing here together as a community, to hold the gravity of life's lost in service, to hold the vision of greater peace and an expression of that peace that can be fulfilled in peaceful ways. And certainly for any of you who on your heart have somebody or some buddies, many people perhaps that you've lost, that this is an opportunity for you to remember and to be in community, to have witnesses that hold that up for you. And so Stephanie's going to sing this sweet song for us that encapsulates all that I've said, much of what I've said. And this is just an invitation for you to consider as you hear the song who or what you'll light a candle for, and I'll call you up after the song to participate in that experience.
I light a candle in your memory, though I don't know who you are. And when I think about your family, I will wish upon a star. And I pray that they'll find peace someday. I pray they'll make it through. I'll light a candle in your memory to honor you. I'll light a candle for America. May we feel peace inside, and we hold each other closer and wipe the tears we've cried. And I pray we'll bond together, and I pray that we'll pull through. I'll light a candle for America, for me and for you. And we will light the world with our love. I know we will light the world with our love, with our love. I'll light a candle for humanity, for the good that's yet to come, as we overlook our differences and join now as one. And I'll pray we'll come out stronger in this world I'm dreaming of. I'll light a candle for humanity, to be a world living in love. And we will light the world with our love. I know we will light the world with our love. I know we will light the world with our love. I know that we can, I know that we will light the world with our love, with our love. I light a candle for humanity, for the good that's yet to come, as we overlook our differences and join now as one. And I'll pray we'll come out stronger in this world I'm dreaming of. I'll light a candle for humanity to be a world living in love. I light a candle. I light a candle. I light a candle.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. So I'm going to just trust that as you're called to come up, you will cooperate with your aisle mates. There's no real order, usually just sort of as you're called, but as people start to leave your aisle, that might be your cue that you're being called. And you certainly don't have to if it's not comfortable for you to come up. You don't have to do that. So I'll invite you to come up as you are called. I have some perfect, yes, brave souls. Yeah, maybe light from the back as you go so the people that come after you don't have to get burned. Just a little friendly tip. we consciously hold these lives, these souls, and these perhaps ideals of a world of expanded peace. You just hold these lights up today together. And we know and we trust that all the love that we experience in this lifetime, though it is hard to lose those that we love, we wouldn't exchange the love that we share. So it is the price that we pay for the depth of love. And it's a precious exchange. And so we just hold that. And again, I'm struck by the comfort that I hope you feel as I do, that we all do that. We all do that together. And so we are well served to open up to that process as it calls to us, as we experience loss, and that we can show up for each other in healthy ways and not limit that process. As when we get stuck and then we don't process it, and then another loss happens, and now we've compounded that. And that we tend to close our heart, because it hurts. But it's in opening our heart to the fullness of love that really is healing. And certainly in honor of Memorial Day today, I know that there is, we could light, God only knows how many thousands and millions of candles for people who have lost their lives in the history of humanity, defending their people, their place. And that brings us to our second of the beatitudes. Nope, that's not it. I got my notes wrong. Oh no. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Now it doesn't matter what anyone else calls us. This is not to be, I'm the child of God. We first must know that ourselves, must first call that forward ourselves, know our own divine lineage. And that, it's from that place, you can think to be a peacemaker in today's world, it's a tall order. We have to call upon something beyond our human mind to conceive of that and to be that presence in a world that is so chaotic, so challenged. And that is exactly what we're called to do. And so it is first and foremost, the blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God, is that they will know themselves accordingly. And then as we know that, we can access that deeper sense of peace and purpose in our own lives, and then we can begin to be that in the world, even in the face of conflict. We start in our own families, in our own communities, by recognizing also that I'm dealing at all times with another child of God, whether they know it or not. I can know it. And that calls me to react and to respond from a different place than when I'm in perhaps a defensive or judgmental place that is so easily called into action when we are criticized or in conflict. We are spiritual beings, children of God in spirit, but we only become this in fact and expression when we attune to the infinite and express that potential as love and peace outwardly. So the action step here is to first and foremost know yourself to be a child of God, and notice how that expands what's possible for you. And it never means putting yourself in harm's way or putting up with nonsense or, no, we're not being a doormat. But we're knowing who we are and we're acting accordingly. And we're knowing that for each other. So, again, Mr. Butterworth says, we have so long functioned on the level of our humanity that it is at times difficult for us to acknowledge anything greater in ourselves. And this calls for meditation and prayer, a diligent conditioning of our mind to accept and release the dynamic God potential within us. We have to know it, and then we have to spend time knowing it. So the invitation is to work to build that attitude in our consciousness so that we become a place in the world and we are known by our action as bringers of light, expressions of love and light, and of that is what we know God to be. And so it's from that connection, knowing that is our true nature, and exploring that and expressing that we become the peacemakers. And we are blessed in that process because we know who we are. So we will take a moment in meditation to contemplate that for ourselves, right? That we have within us the capacity to be a place and a space for love and for peace, to expand in our own life and in our world. So I'll invite Stephanie up to guide us into our chant for meditation.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
So I just invite you to take a deep breath. Feel the floor supporting you, the chair behind your back. As you connect with the love that radiates the center of your being. We love because God's love is within us. We are of that love. So just take a moment to connect with that place within you, where no matter what is happening outwardly, you know that you have a capacity to love more deeply, more fully, starting with yourself. Claiming for yourself in your mind's eye now, I am a child of God. I am a spiritual being with the potential for peace and harmony within me right now. I am a spiritual being with the potential for peace and harmony within me right now, in the silence. And we can consciously send that love that we are connecting with individually. We can send it out to anyone who is grieving the loss of someone, who is hurting. We can hold ourselves in the depth of that love, realizing that God's love is perfected in us as we love. We have the capacity to love ourselves as God loves us. And it is from the fullness of that love that we can indeed show up as the presence of peace. We can do our part in co-creating a world that expresses the truth that all people are children of God, by whatever name and nature they know it. May we be comforted, and may we be guided, and may we be called to live as if that is true. In that way, we are the peacemakers. And so as you go forth this weekend, I invite you to stay attuned to how peace, God's peace that passes all understanding, is seeking to work in and through your life, your heart, your mind. And know that that is how you are blessed, enriched, and prospered, by letting it be so. And so it is. Amen.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
So just take a deep breath, opening your eyes, bringing your awareness back to this time and space. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating in this service today. Now is the time in our service where we bless our offerings, the financial good that you give to support all that we do here at Unity Spiritual Center Denver, which, as you heard from Nancy this morning, is how we do all that we do, which is amazing. So thank you for all that you give. For those of you who may be new to us, there's information in the back of your bulletin for how you can give electronically. There are also baskets in the back for your checks or cash. So however you are giving, thank you for that. And together we will bless our love offering. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
That will be my wish when I blow out the candles here. Yes, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. I just want to let you all know that I am heading out on a vacation. So be on your very best behavior. And you'll be in good hands, but you won't be seeing me for the next 2 Sundays. So if any of you are called to continue to move the rock on the west side, just come at your will and put it right over. You'll see where all the others are, because that's our task to be able to move forward with our calming garden on the west side. That's on our radar. So I look forward to seeing you when I get back. And if you are, well, actually, it's time to stand up. We're closing with our prayer for protection. We'll say that together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. Amen.